Hey now, ladies and gentlemen. Hey now, hey now. Hey now, hey now. Hey now, hey now. Hey now, hey now. Welcome to hour number 3 of the Line Talk 995. Talk995.com. Andrew Mclain, who.com. And all the different things and places you can find us. It's me and John Bird just hanging out on this Friday.
Just hanging, buddy. Just hanging.
We're just chilling, man.
Just chilling.
We're just chilling. My boy Nick Nye sent me just texted me a picture of a box of Popeye's chicken. Says he's about to mow down a box of Popeye's.
Oh, dang.
On the tailgate while listening to our show.
Sweet.
And it's funny. The backstory on that is the one that I've told, which is when I first met him back when I was like 13 or 14 years old.
Yeah, this is great.
I walked into that conference room, and that's exactly what he was doing. He was mowing down a box of Popeye's chicken, and that was just like, oh, my God, that's Nick Nice, bro. It was like, it was really, I think I might have been the first celebrity I ever met.
Whoa.
You know? And that was like the end-all, be-all for me. I was like, dude, it don't get no bigger than this.
Man, it was so fun when we had him on.
Oh, yeah, dude. And maybe one of my favorite segments we've ever done. But even a segment, we did like an hour and a half. That was the best. I had a blast when he was on here. Which I have requested us put that in our best of whenever we're out or whatever, and I got to run a best of. I want that on there. I want that to be in the mix. Because that definitely needs to be replayed at some point. Next vacation I take, John Bird. Replay that Nick Nice.
You got it.
Hour and a half. That's good stuff. And people loved it, man, because everybody remembers him. It was a big time. I was actually talking to somebody about it at the grocery store the other day because they brought up I guess there's some chick that hosts on that station. Her name is, what was her name? Oh, I think her name was, I think they call her Alabama. Is that what they call her? Is that her name?
I don't know.
Her nickname or whatever? Radio name? Anyway, he said something about meeting her, and I was like, oh, do you listen to the Q? You remember Nick Nice? He's like, oh, yeah, dude. I was like, yeah, that's my homeboy. I know famous people. He's like, oh, dude, that's dope. So, yeah, I flex all the time until people, I've got so-and-so's phone number in my phone. I'm like, yeah.
I just sent him a friend request last night. He popped up, yeah.
On Facebook?
Yeah, on FB.
Yeah, I brag about that. I'm like, yeah, I got Nick Nice's phone number in my phone. I tell people that a lot, actually. And most of the time, they're very impressed if they're from Birmingham. 205-545-9950. Ernest Financial bringing you this part of the show. RetireWithErnest.com. RetireWithErnest.com. My buddy David Ernest. What are you blowing in there, buddy?
These keyboards are just nasty, and they got cat hair. I don't know where the cat hair came from.
Hey, listen, now that you're buddies with Crank, maybe you can get him to come in there with some air duster.
You mean St. Frank?
Well, whatever.
You always call him Crank, I know, but he's St. Frank to me.
Well, I'm just saying, he's probably got some air duster back there. But listen, your retirement, if you're 55 or older and you got over 50K in your retirement, that's normally what I say, but I've been kind of changing it up a little bit because there are some people under 55 that are making good money right now, and they're putting money back, and they've got well over 50K or maybe a little over 50K. And if that's the case, you really need to go ahead and come up with a plan to make sure your money's where it needs to be, where you're making money, you're making the right moves, and once retirement gets here, it's locked and loaded, baby. You don't have to worry about it. You can sit there and draw money. I mean, you could have a big chunk of money. You can just draw off the interest and just have a paycheck coming in every month, and all your bills are paid, and you're getting to do the things you want to do. You go out there and buy a boat. You buy a house on the lake, all these different things. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Ernest Financial can help those dreams come true. All you got to do is call him. And this costs you nothing, by the way. 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-7233. 7233. Online retirewithernest.com. Are you familiar with Chud the Builder?
I'm familiar with Bob the Builder, but not Chud the Builder.
Chud the Builder is this online streamer, probably somewhere in his 30s, maybe late 20s, early 30s, white guy. He's got an obnoxious white mustache, wears a cowboy hat. And he goes around harassing people. And in particular, he harasses black people. And he'll get up in their face and use the N-word and then talk about, oh, it's freedom of speech and everything else. And he's like, and so he'll go up to them, you know, he'll say something sideways, start a fight with them, then start calling them the N-word, and then, you know, start mocking them because they're mad, you know. And yes, he's got the freedom of speech and freedom to say that. I don't think he should be thrown in jail for saying those things, but I think he's an absolute idiot for, like, I mean, there's still a level of decorum that we expect as a society.
Yes.
That, you know, you can still, even though it's legal for you to say those things, there's a lot of stuff that's legal to do that you don't have to do. He made a living off this. I mean, was making money off streaming this stuff and harassing people, and he was most recently in Nashville. And he's very widely known. I mean, millions of people were watching him. And I think what happened is he had gotten so big that people, you know, that were opposing this stuff and started to see him. And so he ended up with a target on his back, essentially, as that's the way these things play out. Anyway, so he's in Nashville, and he starts an argument with one black guy that is a veteran who has PTSD, and he starts, you know, saying the N-word and all this other stuff. And I think the black guy ends up taking a swing on him. Well, Chud the Builder, always, after calling people the N-word and everything else, he always flashes his gun on his hip, saying, yo, I'm just exercising my freedom of speech, and if you attack me, I'm going to shoot you. Well, this guy, who obviously wasn't having it, attacked Chud the Builder, from what I understand, swung on him. Well, then Chud pulls out his gun, shoots the guy, ends up shooting himself in the process, shoots himself in the arm or the hand or something, and ultimately gets arrested. And now he's in jail. And just within the past couple hours, he was in court for his bail hearing, and his bond has been set at $1.25 million, which is crazy. I don't know what the charges are, maybe attempted murder, but
yeah, because you provoke it, and then, I mean,
it's not, you know, he thought that he was going to be able to continue to do this and then ultimately end up in a situation like this and be able to claim self-defense. But you've done this to where society is not on your side, and now you're going to have to rely on a jury of your peers in Nashville, which, by the way, even though it's kind of the, you know, country music capital, it's still a liberal city. You're going to have to rely on a jury of those people, those peers, to decide whether or not Chud the Builder is going to be guilty of attempted murder. And I don't think it's going to work out well for him.
All for clicks.
And it was just, you know, I had kind of seen him over the past few weeks doing this stuff, and I'm like, you know, something bad's going to happen. And
it's inevitable when you do crap like that.
It finally happened, and now he's locked up. So, way to go, buddy. You big dummy. Yes, I support freedom of speech. I don't care if it's hate speech. I don't care what kind of speech it is. I am a free speech absolutist. But I also think that you've got to you got to be able to deal with the societal consequences. And if you want to go around acting like that and calling people names and stuff, while it's not legal for someone to attack you, it's still possible it's going to happen if you're out there acting like an idiot. So now you find yourself in this conundrum, and maybe you get let off. Maybe you beat the charges and it is self-defense, but That's not going to if you beat the charges, it's not going to eliminate the fact that you're now going to have to spend months in jail waiting for your trial. So why even put yourself through that? Let's go to the phone, shall we? Bubba Rumble is on the line. Bubba, what's up?
Hey now, me love, hey now, nation, long time.
Hey
no homo.
now.
Well, it's been quite the Fun King Friday festivities so far, and off the rails, just like I like it. And then the first second I get put on hold, then I hear you asking Jay Bizzle what he's blowing in there.
Well, I mean, it is Fun King Friday.
It is, man. Perfect, you know.
It was a keyboard, by the way.
It's a dusty keyboard, Bubba Rumble.
That's what I would say.
With
That's
cat
what
hair.
I would say.
He's just blowing the dust off of it, if you know what I mean.
I'm just blowing the keyboard. Gosh. And it's always nice at DM6 to come in and try to elevate a pack of rascals on Fridays. Today, he was unable to do so, but it wasn't his fault.
I can tell he gets uncomfortable sometimes when he comes on the show. I really can.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've even heard him comment on what he sees on the text line versus Jock's text line, too, you know, so I can only imagine what really comes through on the text line versus what you are actually legally allowed to read.
Oh, y'all wouldn't be able to emotionally handle what I see on this text line.
We'd need therapy if we saw the
Yes.
text line. Or what?
It's out of control, dude. It is out of control.
All right, so you guys was talking about AI, and the first thing I'll say about AI is I'll put Jay Bizzle's songwriting skills and musical talents above AI all day long, every day of the week.
Yes.
Signed, sealed, delivered, and quote me on that. Jay Bizzle is a musical freaking genius, and AI still pretty much sucks, and it all kind of sounds the same no matter what genre it's supposed to be.
What did you think of my song though? The one I played.
I liked the intro. It was pretty heavy. You know what I mean? So maybe metal AI is cooler than regular AI because metalheads are cooler than regular people. So maybe there's something like that going on there.
I agree.
I think it's easier to hide AI behind the heavy guitars
Yeah.
than when you're dealing with reproducing horns and things like that.
Could be.
Yeah, but like I said, it all seems to like come out sounding kind of the same, whether it's supposed to be 70s contemporary or crossover country or whatever. It all just kind of sounds the same, a lot of it. You know what I mean?
Does.
So AI's got.
And as I listen to the lyrics, I kind of find myself thinking, these lyrics are kind of cheesy, but if I knew it was a real artist and they were doing the exact same lyrics, would I feel the same way? Or would I view it differently because I know it's a real person?
Yeah, that's where it fails for me too, is lyrically. Now, there's some potential, like it's not, you know, the band in the box and all that, that's been around for a long time. So like if somebody who's actually got some songwriting skills and can sing would arrange a song with AI music and then a real singer laid a track over it, that might elevate it a little bit for now, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I like
where
real
it
music.
goes.
Well, I tell you right now, the Jawbone Jam concert, that's the antithesis of all this AI garbage, you know? Triple bill rock shows were my bread and butter growing up. Go in there, have a fun evening. And of course, we used to see 3 bands for like $12, $15 back in my prime, you know, but I understand things are a little bit more, but I don't think you guys are exactly like bending people over for tickets either. So for all the concerts I've heard this year anywhere, the Jawbone Jam is the show of the year.
It is. And I think it, like you said, it kind of goes to our show that we're doing today. We're highlighting AI music while we give a middle finger to AI music tonight at Jawbone Jam.
That's right. Hold them lighters high, y'all.
Mm.
Like flick a bic and just enjoy the camaraderie of real people and real music. And, you know, I'm a bit jealous, I must say.
Yeah, we got to get you down here, bro. We got to get you down to
I'm going to get over there.
To a 99.5 event ASAP.
Yeah, you know, and tip of the hat to Brother Kane for still being around. They hit pretty good over here on the West Coast, too. You know, I mean, Brother Kane was a big deal, and I guess they have a new album out even, so tip of the hat to Brother Kane, and hopefully this is the start of a whole new era of that style of music. I used to call that that was trash can rock is what we used to call that, and that's a compliment, by the way.
Yeah.
Just down and dirty rock and roll.
I like trash rock. It's right up my alley.
That's right.
Well, cool, man. Good to hear from you, and we appreciate all the support. And we have got to remember this, Jumper. We've got to get Bubba Rumble down here at some point.
Yep. Well, Bama said we need to fly him down today for the festivities tonight.
Yeah. Can you catch a plane today?
Man, that's real tempting. And I'm kind of in one of the same boats you've been in lately, Mr. Andrew Mandu, is I'm moving right now, and it's just been like a grind, and I'm about 2 weeks away from being done. And if I had any way of getting out of here, I'd drop everything and get out of here. But the property's in escrow. I got to get out of here, so I'm not sitting here talking to Andrew Mando on the phone when the new owners show up in their U-Haul.
Hell yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, we appreciate it, dude.
All right, my dudes. I hope the whole Hey Now Nation has a Hey Now weekend. And please, like I said, y'all go enjoy that concert. If you don't go to that concert tonight, you crazy.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hey now. There's Bubba Rumble. All right, more of your phone calls coming up. 205-545-9950. I might even throw a few headlines at you. You never know what happens on a Fun King Friday. Who is this?
This is Lord of the Lost.
I don't like it. Sounds like an sounds like an 80s show.
Well, I mean, it is an 80s song.
Lord of the Lost. Lord of the Lost.
Yeah, it does sound like an 80s show.
I tried to watch the Lord of the Flies new
Yeah, and?
I didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah. It was oh crap. There's my YouTube going. No, I didn't like it. There's something about child actors. Like, if they're the main characters, I can't really get into it. It's kind of like Stranger Things. I watched a little bit of it, but I couldn't get into it that much. I think I watched one season of it. And so as I'm watching this, and it's not just child actors, it's British child actors. So I also have trouble watching movies that have non-English accents. And maybe I'm just a redneck or whatever, but there's something, it's just...
I like adult English accents, but I can't stand kids' English accents.
Yeah, it's like it's hard for me to connect with or something. There's something weird about it where I'm just like, I don't know. I didn't like it, but I don't even think that I know the regular the original story. I know I was supposed to read it in school, but I never read any of the books they told me to read. I just cheated off of people's essays. Book reports.
Get those little, what were the yellow and black books? Cliff Notes?
For dummies?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Cliff Notes or, that's
Lord of the Flies for dummies.
Yeah, Lord of the Flies for dummies. Yeah, I just didn't like it. I like, well, y'all know how I am. I like documentaries. I was just talking about that Nature Boy documentary. Fascinating. It was really good. I got to find a new one, though. There's got to be a new cult-esque.
Wormwood, man.
Oh, Wormwood. Yeah, you told me about that. But you said it's kind of half and half. It's half
No, it's not
documentary.
half and half. It's mostly documentary, but the scenes like the son has become obsessed and spent his whole life over what happened.
But you're saying that it's actors, and then in between the scenes of actors, it's just people talking about what happened? Or is it?
No, it's so much more. That little acting, that's only a part of it. There's so much going on. It's so neat. Old footage and everything. It really creates a vibe I think you would dig, man.
Because that's what I want. I want old footage. I want real footage.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty of that.
You say it's got to do with MK Ultra?
Mm-hmm. And this was, I'll just tell you this, President Ford apologized to somebody about what happened. That's all I'm going to say. That's how bad it was.
It does sound bad. All right. No Matt Murphy today, I guess. I didn't even get a text back from him.
Jeez.
Some friend he is. Or could it be that Matt Murphy's trying to lay low and surprise everybody at Jawbone Jam?
Wouldn't that be awesome? It has been 10 years. It was his baby.
That is true. Has anybody even invited him? Do we know?
We don't know.
Probably not. 205-545-9950. Who's I know AJ's got to be down at the event to be with Leland as he's broadcasting live from Iron City. Who's going to be producing for him? You don't know?
David Sears.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure it wasn't you.
No, it's not I. I mean, although I could be since my buddy Chase McMahon is going tonight.
Your buddy Chase McMahon?
Yeah, he's the 90s kid.
Oh, yeah,
He's gonna
that's
be going.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chase McMahon.
Can't wait to meet him.
He's a punk.
Is he?
Yeah, because he's a rich kid that's trying to be grunge, and I'm just not into that.
Yeah, that's not your style.
No, that's not who you are, man. Be who you are.
Be yourself. Just be yourself,
Just
John
be
Bird.
yourself. Oh, wait a minute. That's for me. Okay. Yeah, I'll be there tonight. I'm just playing a character. Y'all don't freak out.
All right, let me throw a couple of headlines at you real quick. And I didn't know about this until I heard Leland talking about it yesterday, but there was an underwater bomb found at a dam that supplies all the drinking water for Mobile, Alabama. Somebody tried to bomb the dam. That's crazy.
I know.
Says the Mobile area water and sewer system immediately alerted Mobile County Sheriff's Office, which coordinated with a multi-agency response involving Gulf Coast Regional Maritime Response and Render Safe Team, the FBI Bomb Squad, Mobile Police Department Explosive Ordnance Detail, Aaliyah Bomb Squad, and Daphne Search and Rescue. Boy, they had a whole squad of people out there for that thing.
Well, yeah, man, that's drinking water.
It's kind of a big deal, yeah. Safety team retrieved the IED and detonated it off-site with no injuries or damage to the dam or water supply. They issued a statement saying, our top priority is keeping your drinking water safe. This is an unprecedented threat, and we are fortunate that this device was discovered before it could cause serious damage to our water supply or harm to individuals. We're grateful for the professionalism and competency of our law enforcement partners, as well as the quick thinking of our contractors and divers in identifying this device and safely destroying it. If a bomb blows, like if you're the diver and you got to go grab this bad boy, if a bomb blows up on you underwater, it probably does less damage to you than it would if you were not underwater, right?
I would think so, but the concussion would probably kill you.
Oh, you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would think so. It still explodes and if stuff shattered. But I mean, if I was like a diver, they probably don't get a whole lot of business. So they're probably like, man, oh yeah, we get to go into the water.
Yeah, because they were doing like routine repairs, and that's how they discovered it. Like they really got lucky to find it. Now, what are the chances that it was deliberately placed there, or is it possible that somebody had just made a bomb for ish and giggles and accidentally dropped it in the water and it floated down the river to the dam?
I don't know. How heavy is it? How big was it? I guess that would all play into it.
I didn't see anything on that. I watched a video of them exploding it, but it didn't look like anything. It didn't look like a nuke or nothing.
Did they remove it out of the water and explode it? Or?
Yeah, looks like they took it out kind of in the woods and blew it up. I'm looking at it now.
Who would do that? Not terrorists.
Yeah. It's a bizarre thing to do. I just don't really, I don't know unless it's just, an act of terrorism by some sort of anarchist that wanted to cause havoc. I don't know. I mean, people do stupid stuff. I mean, look at Chud the Builder, Some people just go out there and do stupid stuff that causes them a lot of problems. But they'll be investigating that. I don't think they have any suspects, but maybe they'll get to the bottom of it, figure out who that bomb belongs to. Also, just a quick note on the China trip. I guess Trump's on his way home now. I haven't seen anything on that. But the trip went well. There were many deals that were made, a good relationship between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping. Everything seemed to go smoothly. Xi Jinping was showing him many places in Beijing that he doesn't take other world leaders, and like what is it, the Heaven Temple or whatever it was, and some gardens, and just very very sacred stuff there in China. But the discussions is something that we don't know a whole lot about, as far as, a lot of people are asking, did Donald Trump pressure Xi Jinping to pressure Iran to end the conflict? Iran, as of today, I think they're at about 85-90% capacity on their oil storage on Karg Island, which means that they're just, so many days away from having nowhere to put the oil that they're drilling. Did Trump pressure Xi Jinping to then pressure Iran? Also, was there pushback from the Chinese in the sense of, and they put this message out, that they want the U.S. to back off on the policy of saying that Taiwan has the ability to maintain its independence, and the U.S. to stop supplying Taiwan with weapons, because China wants to take over Taiwan. They want to control Taiwan completely, and that is and has been one of their top priorities. So you can guarantee yourself that that was brought up in the meetings. But what was asked of Trump and what was Trump's response? I would be very surprised if Trump folded on Taiwan in any way, shape, or form. Not saying it's not possible, not saying that there couldn't be an adjustment in U.S. Taiwan policy, but did he make any concessions? He's not the type of person to do that, so we'll see. One of the most fascinating parts of it, though, was the fact that Marco Rubio was banned from China. He was actually on one of their most wanted lists because of stuff he said about China in the past and saying that they were America's number one enemy. And so in order for them to allow Marco Rubio to come into the country, they changed his name. In China, they changed it to Lee Rubio or something. Lou Rubio.
That's so strange.
Yeah.
Only Trump could have the influence where they're, we cannot go back on our law, but we changed his name.
Yeah, they literally changed his name just to allow him in the country for that trip. Which, again, yeah, like you said, it's that Trump influence.
Trump influence, yep.
So, but all in all, I think it went well. There was a 30-minute standoff, like an old-fashioned Mexican standoff, which, what would you call a Mexican standoff in China? A Chexican standoff?
Chexican.
Between the Secret Service and the Chinese agents, where Secret Service was trying to go into the meeting with Trump, and the Chinese agent said, no, you can't bring your firearms in here. And the Secret Service is like, the hell we can't. We're Secret Service. We're bringing our guns in here. And they're like, oh, no, you can't bring firearm. And they're like, no, dude, that's not how this works. Ultimately, again, after 30 minutes, they settled it. Everything was fine. But that usually happens. There's usually some sort of a standoff. How did
they resolve it, though? Did they change the names of the agents?
I don't know. Somebody finally gets involved.
Because the Chinese Secret Service already become, I'm sure they were going to keep their weapons.
Oh, yeah. Well, and ultimately what happens is somebody mediates it and they come in. But that always happens on international trips like this. Mm-hmm. There's always some sort of tension between security forces in the sense of, hey, I'm here to protect this guy, and wherever he goes, we go. And they're like, no, you can't do that. It happened in North Korea. It happens with the press. The press tries to get into places to get coverage of whatever, and then they get in trouble with the local government. And it's such a big undertaking that some minor details get lost in translation. So by the time you get over there and all these different parts are moving, there's always one hiccup somebody didn't think about. And you're confronted with that. You've got to deal with that in the moment, and they always do. the end of the day, the presidents can be like, listen, it's fine. The Secret Service agents aren't going to shoot anybody. Let them in, whatever. And because the last thing they want to do is derail any sort of negotiations over a conflict between the security people. But interesting stuff. I've always found those international trips fascinating. But as we stated earlier in the week, we hate the fact that Donald Trump's even going to leave the country.
I know.
It makes us. But at the end of the day, if you do the math, it's almost as if Trump is safer in China than he is here in the U.S.
Yep.
He's never had an assassination attempt on his life in China.
Mm-mm.
He's never had an assassination attempt in Europe or any other country that he's visited while president. But he's had 3 here. So you got to ask yourself, like,
insane.
What's the deal? So that's going on. Also, redistricting has been a big thing. There's still I was watching Jermaine Brown's live Facebook last night, and him talking about the redistricting and silencing black votes and everything else. And I'm thinking, man, how silly is this that people are actually being convinced that individuals are being silenced? Nobody's being silenced. You've still got just as many votes as you had when all of this started. But also, if we're looking at it, and thank God that Republicans are finally growing a backbone, they're finally doing to the Democrats what the Democrats have been doing to us. You can look at states in the Northeast part of the country and see several states that have, a 30, 40% Republican population and have zero representation because of how they've drawn the districts to make sure only Democrats get sent to Congress in those states. Well, what's the difference in us doing it? There's not a difference. These people are just, this is the way Democrats are. Democrats, and you can see this by their reaction to this. While it's, they're silencing people or whatever, but they also talk about changing the rules, moving to the popular vote, packing the Supreme Court. They'll eventually eliminate the filibuster. Like, Democrats are a party of people that if they lose, they will change the rules. They never take a loss and say, well, let's move on to the next one and try to win the next one, which is what Republicans do. But the left never takes the L and moves on. When they receive an L, they try to change the rules of the entire game, which tells you that it's not about the people. It's about themselves. They never, when they're talking about, when you listen to them talk about the redistricting and what it's done, most of them aren't even talking about the voters themselves. They're talking about the politicians that would be holding those seats, the Terry Sewell or the Jim Clyburn or whoever that would be losing their seat. They talk about them. Not about the voters that are voting for that individual, but the politician themselves, which shows you where their priorities are. With Jim Clyburn, he is the one lone Democrat in Congress from the state of South Carolina. Their governor, what's his name, McMaster, he has called an emergency special session to force a vote on a 2026 congressional map, which would move South Carolina to a 7-0 GOP, House seat gimmick. So that would eliminate the one Democrat seat in South Carolina. Thank goodness they are doing that. I don't know if they'll accomplish it. Moves going on in Alabama as well with the special session. There's going to be a lot of moving parts in the lead up to the general election. These don't affect the primaries, so the primaries are still going to happen. But this has got to be done before the general election. Hopefully that's the case, and we will we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be fun. 205-545-9950. You're listening to The Line on this Fun King Friday. Don't go anywhere. We can dance.
We can dance. We can dance.
205-545-9950. If you want to get in. Jawbone Jam, man. Y'all are going to be hearing over the next 4 hours. Well, once 2 o'clock rolls around, you're going to be hearing Leland live at Jawbone Jam. And this is what I was trying to tell you the other day, John Bird, about the moments when you're listening to a radio show and they're promoting an event from the event. There's no bigger motivator for people that are maybe on their way home or listening or whatever. There's nothing that motivates them more than that to actually pull the trigger, buy tickets, and go to the event.
You're right, because you can hear stuff going on around.
You can hear it.
Really
you're
cool.
Like, God, man, I really should go to that. So if you're on the fence, and I have not been able to convince you to go to Jawbone Jam, tune into Leland. You're going to hear the excitement in people's voices. You're going to hear the stuff happening in the background, and it's going to cause you to say to yourself, okay, fine, I'll go. I'll go ahead and tell you that right now. Because I've found myself in that position many a times, listening to the radio, and, you know, the radio host are like out at a local food giant or whatever, and you're like, oh, man, I should go by and see them. This is one of those times, man. I want to see y'all out there. John Bird wants to see you. This is John Bird's first Jawbone Jam in 2 years.
Yep.
2 years. This is his first Jawbone Jam back since being fired and rehired. I like to take full credit for that, by the way, for getting John Bird back. I don't take full credit,
but you worked hard. Everybody here at the station did.
I tried.
Really
I tried,
cool.
And people in the building will tell you I harassed everybody to no end about that. I think who ultimately pulled it off, which I need to check on, is Kerry Adams, who gracefully said, "You know what? I'm gonna be the one to push that last domino and make this happen."
Yeah, I mean that was incredible. That was very selfless of him.
He is.
And I'll always be appreciative.
Y'all remember me talking about Jocelyn Benson yesterday, the Michigan Secretary of State who's running for governor, and how she has constantly said that no illegals are voting in the Michigan elections. And then I gave you like 6 examples of illegal immigrants that not only voted on elections, but they were on DHS's worst of the worst list. Well, now we've got another one where a Michigan county clerk, this is out of, what county was this? It was Macomb County, Michigan. The clerk for Macomb County, Anthony Forlini, found 198, just in one county, 198 non-U.S. citizens summoned for jury duty. Now, you usually, if you're in the country illegally, you wouldn't just get a random summons for jury duty. I mean, it's already rare that you get summoned for jury duty, but it would be really rare if you were in the country illegally. But in this one county, in 2026, just this year, 198 illegals have been summoned for jury duty from Jocelyn Benson's driver's license database. 11 of those were actually registered to vote. 11 of those illegals. Listen to this real quick. According to the Macomb County Clerk Anthony Forlini's May 13th press conference, in the first quarter of 2026 alone, 198 non-U.S. citizens were summoned for jury duty and forced to self-report with green cards and other proof that they are not American citizens and ineligible to serve. Of those 198, 11 had been registered to vote in Michigan's qualified voter file, and a shocking 7 of them had been recently voting. So, examples after examples of illegal aliens seem to be voting in the elections. And that's just in one state, in one county, in one state. So how much of that is happening all across the country? The world may never know. unless we deport them all, which is probably the best course of action. You know how you stop an illegal from voting in your elections? You send their ass back home, baby. That's the best way.